And now it is my pleasure to introduce John Anderson, the distinguished president of the NAE. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome to the 2024 National Meeting of the National Academy of Engineering. We are pleased to have our NAE members and guests who have taken the time to join us today, both in person and virtually. And we have two high schools represented here. Now we're going to have a little competition because I want to know which ones are more enthusiastic. So when I call out the name of your school, the challenge is for you to stand up and yell as loud as you can. All right? And I won't be satisfied unless I see the older group in here put their hands up to their ears, okay? Okay. Students from the Samueli Academy in Santa Ana, stand up and cheer. All right, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. And congratulations, you just broke my hearing aids. So thank you. Now, I welcome the students from Cabrillo High School in Long Beach. Stand up and cheer. A little extra on that one. All right, I'm declaring it a tie. It's a tie. Marty, how you doing down there? Did you hear that? You know, you people you're the future of engineering, and you're the future of our society. And it's our pleasure to share with you the value, power, creativeness, and excitement of engineering. Creativeness, it's a key word in engineering. NAE Chair Don Winter just spoke about the remarkable advancements that have shaped our world, all of which can be attributed to engineering. This engineering is where technology meets the road, meets society. This year, as the National Academy of Engineering celebrates its 60th anniversary, I'd like to honor the some NAE members whose ideas, innovations, and sheer perseverance have made these advancements possible. These pioneering engineers are true leaders of change. First, Steve Fembus. Steve was a Holocaust survivor in the Second World War, lost some of his family in the camps, but he persevered, got his degree all the way through a PhD, and is considered one of the pioneers of computer-aided design for large buildings, the highest buildings in the country. Francis Arnold. Francis is the recipient of the 2018 Nobel Prize in Chemistry, the 2011 Charles Stark Draper Prize in Engineering, and member of all three academies within the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. And her work that she's cited for is directed evolution of enzymes that can work in any environment. John Brooks Slaughter, who unfortunately just passed away recently, pioneer in engineering education, leadership, and equal opportunity. He was the first director of NSF He first formed the engineering directorate of NSF in 1982, selected to the National Academy of Engineering in 82, and then was president of University of Maryland, and then the president of Occidental College, a true pioneer. Marty Cooper, pioneering contribution to the world's first cellular telephone. He's the father of cellular phones, made the first phone call on a cell phone in April 1973. Now, I know it's hard for you to look back that far, right? But 1973, and he has contributed since then. And Marty Cooper is here. Can we get him to stand? Marty Cooper is the reason we walk around talking to each other with a handheld device, okay? And finally, Andrew Viterbi, who invented the Viterbi algorithm, a programming algorithm that can estimate the likely sequence of events in a given situation. Originally, the focus, when I talked with Dr. Viterbi, the focus was on digital cellular technology, but it's been used in many other applications. For example, when you type words in and then the computer suggests new words to follow, that comes from his algorithm. And finally, Lillian Gilbreth, a true pioneer of the field of management theory, who is best known for her work as an industrial engineer. She actually is considered a founder of the field of industrial engineering, taught for a long time at Purdue University. Lillian and her husband Frank, who were a team, and they studied what they call time and motion research, and they're memorialized in the subjects of a book. They have 12 children, okay, and 2 of her children wrote a book called Cheaper by the Dozen. Right? And unfortunately, her husband died young, so she had to raise these 12 children, teach at Purdue, and get all this stuff done. It's remarkable. She was elected to the National Academy of Engineering in 1965. She's the first woman elected in the second class of members, okay? And in a nod to women engineers, Lillian Gilbreth was the first, as I said, first person elected. It's an honor that we, the Gilbreth Lectures are an honor that we hold every year. And these are just a sampling of the many engineers and innovations in the entrepreneurial spirit that have transformed our world, including Dr. Henry Samueli, co-founder of Broadcom and the patron of the Samueli Academy, right? We honor all these engineers for their perseverance, fortitude, and pioneering work. And more importantly, these engineering pioneers stand as testament that engineering opportunities are as unique as the individual can be tailored to fit your individual interests. And now I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Al Romick, Executive Officer of the National Academy of Engineering. Al?
I have tinnitus from too much time around loud sounds like explosions and jet engines, and it's really stimulated by noise. You guys have my ears ringing like mad right now, so it was certainly loud enough. What I'd like to do here today, as we open up the session, is to acknowledge 2 engineers whose leadership has really impacted the nation and the NAE, and I'd like to recognize them now. So next slide. First, Don Winter. He's an independent consultant now that supports national and international security interests in the U.S. and allied nations. As it says, he served as the 74th Secretary of the Navy from January 2006 until March of 2009, in which case he led the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps team and was responsible for 900,000 people and a budget in excess of $125 billion. Prior to that, Don had a career in aerospace and defense that spanned over 30 years as a systems engineer, program manager, and corporate executive. In fact, Don and I first worked together about 20 years ago, but we can't tell you what we did, just the way it goes. From 2009 to 2020, he was a professor of practice at the University of Michigan, where he taught graduate level courses on systems engineering, satellite design, and maritime policy. Since 2011, he has served in multiple roles assisting the Commonwealth of Australia in its efforts to reconstruct the Royal Australian Navy's fleet and establish a sustainable shipbuilding capability. From 2019 to 2021, he also served as the U.S. DoD Senior Defense Industry Advisor for Ukraine. He earned his BS degree from the University of Rochester and both master's and PhD degrees from the University of Michigan, all in physics. He is now completing a 4-year term as the NAE Chair, starting service in 2020, in which case he oversees the efforts of the NAE Council and Executive Committee and works actively with the President in representing the NAE and its policies in the engineering community and to the public. So next, Carol Hall. Carol earned her bachelor's degree in physics from Cornell University and her PhD in physics from the State University of New York at Stony Brook. After postdoc training in the chemistry department at Cornell and a brief period as an economic modeler at Bell Laboratories, she joined the chemical engineering department at Princeton in 1977 as one of the first women to be appointed to a chemical engineering faculty in the U.S. In 1985, she joined the chemical engineering department at North Carolina State, where she currently works as the Worley H. Clark Jr. Distinguished University Professor of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering. Carol is the author of more than 300 publications and the recipient of numerous awards, including the Margaret Hutchinson Rousseau Pioneer Award for Lifetime Achievement by a Woman Chemical Engineer, which she received in 2020 from the American Institute of Chemical Engineers. She was elected to the NAE in 2005 and has served a 4-year term as the NAE Home Secretary from July 2020 until June of 2024. So Don and Carol, if you please come to the stage, I would like to present you with an NAE coin. So I'll tell you the story behind these. It's called a challenge coin. The history behind them, and I've heard a couple of variations, is that during World War I, a pilot or an infantry person, not clear which, both an Allied and British version of this, returned to their home lines and didn't have any proof of their identity. They were challenged to produce a silver dollar in the American story or pound sterling in the British story. And when they produced that coin to that challenge, they were allowed back across Allied lines into safety. The modern day history is, now you guys aren't old enough, so you got to remember this until you're 21. But now, if I was in a bar and I'm with you and I put down my coin, if you don't have yours, you're buying. So just remember that until you're 21. Okay. Thank you, Don and Carol, for your engineering expertise and your leadership. And now, John. Now, John will introduce our Gerber lecturers.
I'd like to strike that reference to a bar from the record so we don't have to go to jail. That's it. This afternoon, we're fortunate to have with us 4 distinguished engineers who were selected by the NAE from among participants at the 2023 Granger Foundation Frontiers of Engineering Symposium. And they are selected as the 2024 Lillian Gilbreth Lecturers. The Gilbreth Lecturers recognize outstanding early career engineers who are especially gifted in the presentation of their engineering ideas. Launched in 2001, the Gilbreth Lectures are funded by the Armstrong Endowment for Young Engineers, which was established by the NAE member John Armstrong, formerly of IBM, I believe. We have an exciting lineup of interesting topics by exceptional professionals, and you can find their bios in the printed program and on the NAE website, along with a brief description of their presentations.